So the US Bureau of Labor Statistics found that young people today spend 45% more time alone than we did 15 years ago. Google searches for how to meet people, where to make friends, and feeling lonely are all rising. And it's not just the US. Loneliness is rising globally. The UK literally appointed a minister for loneliness in 2018. And Japan, well, Japan's on a totally different level. They're dealing with such a huge problem with loneliness that they even made a new word for people who die alone and aren't found for days. Now, there's a bunch of reasons why this is happening. Obviously, a recent thing is the pandemic. Lockdowns really made this worse. But even before COVID, the numbers were going up. And also, we can't ignore the screens. But a piece of the puzzle that doesn't get enough attention is the disappearance of third places. So you've got your first place. That's your home, right? It's the place where you act informal with people you live with. Your second place is work or school. Those are the places that are a lot more formal and structured, where you're not as relaxed as home. Third places are basically anywhere else. The coffee shop, the bar, the community center, the library, any neutral place that isn't home or work, where you just hang out. This guy here with this legendary pipe is Ray Oldenburg. He was a sociologist who made this term third place. He noticed the main characteristics that make something a third place. First, it's a neutral place where you can come and go as you please. You don't have to clock in or clock out. It's somewhere where everyone has a feeling of collective belonging and where everyone is equally accepted. A place that's close and easy enough to visit often, that also isn't too fancy. It's a place where you talk with the same people over and over again, and where talking is the main activity. And also a place where laughter happens a lot. Basically, you could think of third places like hangout spots. And historically, they've been extremely important in building up a sense of community and social bond. Ancient Greeks had agoras. They're public spaces where they debated democracy while owning slaves. Ancient China and Japan had tea houses. Honestly, you can kind of make the case that our first third place was the campfire. We've had third places forever, and they're a part of what makes us human. A place to physically gather and just hang out. But over the last couple decades, third places have been disappearing. And not naturally. There's been a systematic effort to kill third places. Public squares have been destroyed to create car-centric cities. Libraries have been underfunded. Parks are becoming privatized or unsafe. And malls are basically ghost towns. It's getting much harder to find a place to just hang out. And instead of fixing the problem, we've basically decided to just replace it with our phones. And that's where the tech part of this comes into the video. Big tech companies didn't just watch third places decline. They've actively helped to make them disappear. Because it's literally in their business model. Instead of meeting a friend at a bar, we're now just sending memes back and forth. Local bookstores are basically empty because we order everything from Amazon. And instead of talking to a stranger on the bus, we doom scroll and argue on Reddit. You get the point. All the things that we used to do in real life in third places, we now do online. Normal social activities have become opportunities for big tech companies to make more money. The whole business model of the attention economy is your attention. Attention is the commodity. The more hours you spend locked into your screen, the more profitable you become. So tech companies have an incentive to make sure you spend less time with others and more time alone. Now, these companies didn't start this problem. The death of third places really started decades ago. Real estate developers and car manufacturers lobbied the government to change zoning laws and get rid of third places. They figured out there's a lot more money to be made when community members are turned into constant consumers. But we can't ignore the fact that platforms like TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook have jumped on this wave and really accelerated it, to the point where third places are now rare, and loneliness has become a crisis. So try to take a wild guess on what big tech's solution is for this problem.
I think as the personalization loop kicks in and the AI just starts to get to know you better and better, I think that will just be really compelling.
Meta wants to build an ecosystem of virtual hangout spots and AI friends. Basically a digital third place.
Nice. What else is coming?
You can go to a virtual concert or sit in a fake cafe and talk with your AI friends. It's marketed as the solution to disconnection and loneliness, but it's actually more of a type of digital gentrification. The third places we used to go to were very cheap, or even free. And they were filled with real people that you could just randomly start a conversation with. But Meta's plan is basically to monetize hanging out, because you would need to buy a $500 headset and make an account that collects your data to sell you ads later.
There's a lot of questions that people ask of stuff like, okay, is this going to replace kind of in-person connections or real-life connections? And my default is that the answer to that is probably no.
Now, to be fair, digital spaces and AI friends could be meaningful. I do think people sometimes can actually make great friends online or build a community.
I get that.
But let's be real. This is just a company trying to sell you a solution to a problem it helped to create. It's like if your landlord burns down your house and then tries to sell you a tent. It doesn't make sense. And it's dystopian as f. Now, I'm a big fan of tech, obviously, that's the whole point of this channel, but I don't think everything deserves a tech solution. We don't need a new app or device to create virtual third places. Why can't we just bring back the real ones we already had? And we can start at a local level. I know it doesn't sound fun, but do research into your city's or town's budget proposals. Find and support policies that actually invest in public spaces. Strong Towns is a nonprofit that does a lot of good stuff with this. They also have a bunch of really good resources for organizing, so I'm gonna put that in the description. By the way, they did not sponsor this video, okay? I just like them. Third places didn't just magically appear, and they're not guaranteed. They're built by humans who made the active decision to build and maintain them. VR is cool and everything, and AI friends could maybe be helpful, but sometimes we honestly need to disconnect with technology to reconnect with each other. Thanks for watching. This is a topic I'm very passionate about. Anyone that knows me knows that I'm really passionate about this topic of third places. If you want to learn more about third places, I highly recommend Not Just Bike's video about it. It was really, really informative for my research into this video. If you like this video, give it a like and subscribe to the channel. It really does help. And if you're watching at this point and you're not subscribed, then what are you doing? All right, thanks again for watching. I will see you guys in the next one.
I think it's time for my workout.